Welcome back to the channel. My name is T Cypher, and in this video we're going to continue the build of the QueenBee Upgrade from CNC 3D for the Workbee by Usenest. This is actually the second time I've attempted to record this video. The first time, I'll put it bluntly, the footage was rubbish, so there was no point in me compiling it. The issue I have is that I don't really have the best of camera equipment. I definitely don't have any tripods or anything, so getting a good view proved problematic. So I will just talk through what I did in that build video and some of the issues and problems I came across in the process. Okay, so the way I did this was I initially assembled the C-beam onto one of the Y plates using whatever bolts suited for the purpose. I then assembled the back brace in place as well, and I used 4 90-degree blocks, top and bottom, to bring me to a total of 8. That's just to reinforce it. I had excess blocks I ordered up, so I thought I'd make use of plenty of them. I then assembled the opposite plate in place, and then I looked at the I got the servo motor and the Acme screw thread in place, and that's all fine. The next bit I looked at was placing the anti-backlash blocks in place, which are down here. You probably can just about see the shims for them in the video. Again, I apologise if a few angles rubbish. I'm trying. The recommended shimming for that is 3 times 9mm plus 2 times mini shims plus another 2 mini shims if you have recesses in your blocks. And funnily, I actually had one which had recesses in, and that really surprised me, because that must have been like that from day one, because I'd have thought maybe a set of 2 of them might have had recesses in it. But yeah, so that's something strange from the Usenest build, that one had a recesses in and the other 5 blocks did not, which I must have never noticed. Don't know if it ever caused me a problem or not, but there you go. So the issue I did run into though was that I was actually running out of 9mm shims, because you use quite a lot of them in this kit. But the good news is that you can use 3 6mm shims to replace 2 9mm shims. So that's what I did for all of these mounting blocks here, just to make sure that there was no tolerance stack going on, because 3 6s is 18, 2 9s is 18, so yeah, that works fine. Even though I've not assembled in the Acme screw thread, eyeballing down the line, I would say the block looks like it's aligned. Until I actually get the Acme screw threads in, I can't guarantee that. And if I need to take these off and adjust it, I think I should be able to do it without actually disassembling the blocks off, which is a good thing. What I did next is I've dry assembled the blocks in, so all I've got is basically 1 screw in each of them, just to sort of hold them in place onto the A plates, Y-axis plates, and put it on the rail. And as you can see, it slides fine. It's wobbling up and down a little bit, but that's mainly because the screws aren't tight. So yeah, but it slides nice and smoothly, so that's cool. There, so yeah, that's another good thing. I have discovered a few points along the way, and I want to say again now, just a shout out to CNC 3D. Their communication has been very good throughout. I've been in comms with them after pretty much every single video, even before release it, just iterating to the issues I find. So one thing I have come across is that I did comment about the 3D prints right at the beginning, and they looked a bit raggedy. I will say I own a resin 3D printer, but I don't own a FDM. I think this is FDM, a fibre resin printer. I do have one on order, but that's a couple of months away from arriving, because yeah. Now, I can't comment on the quality of these really, because I've got no idea, but without much effort this has sheared. I don't know why. I don't know if it's just too weak, or if there's actually maybe the way it's printed entails a weakness to it. But you can see that that's split without, and it didn't take me any sort of effort to do it. I wasn't doing anything. I think all I was doing was just trying to get a clue on how these fit together. These drop in fine to the normal C-beam. This C-beam here has actually got slightly narrower rails in it, but it was £10 cheaper. and I didn't see that as being a problem because I can always drop in the T-blocks and bolt to it. So that's an interesting question, and is again another quality issue that CNC 3D need to have a little look at. I would say that they're definitely making them a lot cleaner now. They've sent me a photo of them tidying them up, and they're actually now printed in I think purple and pink colours, because that's their colour. If we look here, you've got the colour there. So yeah, hopefully those will be better quality. I talked about the other week about the clash between the plates here, and actually I took this assembly off for the test to assemble this, because it's all extra weight unnecessary, and it's very easy to get it on and off. And I'm still not quite sure what I'm going to do here. I'll probably just take a tiny bit off this front face here, and it's literally the clash is less than 0.2 of a millimeter. It is a gnat's breadth, really. I've just backed them up so I could roll it up. As I say, it's just loosely assembled on at the moment. I'll show you why in a minute. Yeah, so there is literally a 0.2 millimeter clash between here and here. Now, again, I've been in communications with them, and as I've discussed before, this is mostly made up of Mark II plates. There is one Mark III plate, which is probably, I think it's this one here, because it looks better than this one here. No, actually it's this one here. That one looks better than this one. And there has been another alteration to the Mark III, which this plate here is now apparently 9.6 millimeters thick. My one is 8.9, so it's actually stood off half a millimeter more. Apparently, according to that. Okay, sorry about that. My battery died on my camera. So as I was saying, the new Z plates are actually 9.6 millimeters thick, which will definitely give a clearance between this plate and this. The motor end plates for the Z-axis that CNC 3D produced for their own one actually give them a 1.5 millimeter gap. So obviously some variance going on between the different manufacturers of these WorkBees clones, even though they're meant to be all open build and done to the same specification. Next thing I did notice also is that their limit switches, they use longer armed limit switches. I'll just try and zoom in a bit here. Okay, which have a longer arm and a ball on the end. Now, as things stand with this particular limit switch and this particular assembly, there is no way that that will actually trigger on the plates. Now, I've been thinking about this, and also that on their drawings it seems to have the limit switch at this end, which is different from the limit switch at this end. But what I probably end up doing is I will actually try and work out a way of mounting the limit switch directly onto here, so it's actually on the end plates themselves, and that should move that issue of how to get it. But yeah, that's going to take a little bit of experimentation for me. The next comment I have is actually about the drag trains. So again, I'm still working through this and building it. Now, the drag chain for the X-axis traditionally fits something like this, and traditionally it sits on the back rail of the WorkBee. Now with this one, it's meant to sit on here. Now that makes a very tight angle, and I'm not too sure how I might end up having to have it twist up something like this, and it's obviously going to need some sort of space that's going on between here and here, so that's going to take more looking at to try and work out the best way of doing that. Yes, and I've got a chain extension so I can get full width there, so that's something I'm going to have to look at and work out. The other issue I've spotted so far with the chain, again, it's one I would have to solve, is the X plate, so the Y plate, sorry, don't have the same hole pattern that the Oozness does for the mounting of it. So there is a tapped hole up here which I'm going to try and make use of to mount the plate to. But again, it's going to be a trial and error thing. I might have to knock up some different mountings, maybe even attach it directly to the servo motor. But again, that's going to be some experimentation that I'll have to do. Okay, so what I think I'll do next, and I believe I have shown you that it is rolling smoothly. I'm going to show you the one of the main downers of switching from the standard rig to this rig, even though we've definitely gained a lot of height. So I'm going to go hands-free for this. Okay, so here we can see what's probably one of the biggest downs of doing this upgrade. We can see that we've gained a lot of space here for the linear rail and the blocks. The actual space is, if I grab my trusty measuring device, and I do apologise again for the hands-free nature of this. As I said, my tripod's out of action. Okay, so if I go like that, okay, so as we can see, there's actually about the plate's about 25 millimeters away from the C-beam. I can't remember how close it was in the original, but it was considerably closer. So you're probably losing 20 millimeters of width on both sides. And if I pull out, and I'm limited on space, I come across this side. Apologise for about the light. I've got here a 1 meter 40 by 80. So 20 by 80 rail in place, and you can see here that there's a considerable length overhanging. As things stand, if I'm going to use these plates, what I'm going to have to do is actually shorten them or put some sort of groove in, because the actual height of the block, as we can see, is lower. Now, on the flip side of this arrangement, you do have the advantage that you can put beams across, all the way across here, all the way. You haven't got an inside plate to interfere with it, so that is an advantage there, and you can make things a lot more rigid doing that. So part of the reason why I'm pausing this video series for the moment is that I am seriously considering purchasing longer C-beam here, longer C-beam, and a longer back brace, so that I can regain some of this distance. The actual screw thread here is sticking out by 25 mil, so I can easily gain 25 mil that way. But on the flip side, I have seen a 1 meter 20 Acme screw thread that might well do the job. It's to spec, it's right, but it's only 14 quid, so you do have to question the quality level. But I might well take a punt on that and see what that's like, and that will gain me back. Like I said, I think I measured, I can gain back 55 millimeters, which, yes, it's not a huge amount, but I'm already losing probably 50. I'm losing 50 due to the step off, and I'm actually going to end up losing a bit more at the moment, because the present blocks I have for my mounting my spindle on actually add another 10 mil either side. So yeah, those are things I am considering. So I think I'll call that a day for this video now. I will come back with more videos in the future, but it's probably going to be spaced out a bit more, and it's going to be more of a end review of the entire assembly process once I've worked out how to solve the kinks, the little things I'm going to need to do to make it work for me. I will say again, CNC 3D have been helpful throughout. If you have any questions, please ask them. If you have any questions for me, please put them in the comments below. Please like and subscribe if you want to. I don't mind, and I hope to see you again in a future video.